Okay, so Jimmy Butler, Alex, let's talk about this. We got this great new player.
And everything was supposed to turn immediately. Like, this was supposed to be it. Everyone was so excited. Like,
well, obviously, this isn't like playing with your friends, shirts and skins. You know what I mean? You just don't go run out there and run around and shoot the ball. You've got to know the plays, and he's only practiced, what, maybe twice? Once. He practiced once with the team.
But if you know basketball, you know basketball. You know how to take the ball and put it in the basket. Boom.
But he didn't get as many touches as he normally does. That's because, they don't have set plays for him yet. Anyway, Orlando beat him. We had a collapse in the fourth quarter.
It was the way we lost. They had like a 21-point run, and it's just, come on.
Yeah.
You don't need to know a play to stop that, do you, Eytan?
No, and I think
fire.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Please,
Jeez.
take over. You're right.
No. And I'm done, folks, and that's all I have to say.
You're coming from the. On that note, Alex leaves on a high note. You're coming from the right mentality, and correct for you to bring up the fact that he had a season low 41 touches on the floor. Defense is the easiest thing you can do. Mm-hmm. And when you are dropping and you are now down after being up and you see a 21-0 run, at some point the coach and the defense should be held accountable. So to your point, Alex, yes, that's where Jimmy Butler and anybody else on the floor should be held accountable, where you don't need 40 practices or one practice.
For defense.
Yeah. Now, offense is a little different. And I think you saw Jimmy Butler the first game begin to be acclimated into this offense and get a feel for it. There were a couple of moments late in the game in which he had a pass to Embiid. Embiid missed a shot. He had a pass to, or he got a bucket off of an Embiid pass. Those things weren't happening before Jimmy Butler got here. So you saw subtle moments in which they're better, but they're still a brutal team on the road. They can't do anything on the road.
So how long do you think before we can say positive things? No, like
Yes.
2 weeks?
No. Listen, the guy's home debut is Friday night. And as sour as we may feel today, because the team, not Jimmy Butler, but the team had a horrific loss on the road last night. And they can't beat anybody on the road. Friday night is the real celebration.
Would that be tomorrow night?
Yeah.
It's going to be rocking.
Correct. I'm sorry. Is that what, should I have said
I always
tomorrow
like
night?
to say that immediacy. I like it's
doesn't know.
tomorrow night.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is on a replay at 2 a.m. So
Yeah, we're not live right now at all,
No.
Eytan. This is all a recording.
We
folks.
shot this in August.
And now we knew ahead of time that Jimmy's going to be here.
Soothsayer. By the way, can we just commend you for your energy? He was in here early this morning. What time were you on with Karen and Thomas?
5:45.
At 5,
5:45.
and you.
And it's 7:52 right now.
Sure.
53.
Well, I took a nap.
Is that what you do?
Come on.
In your car?
Come on.
We busted you outside the studio.
I know. See, I don't even know. Kevin, Jess, who am I blaming for this on this one? Because
Yourself, honey.
Well, is that it? See?
You're the one who slept.
There is a little spot when you park right outside here on Market Street where you are in total visibility of everybody. I purposely moved up front so nobody could snap me.
Oh, you can't. No, that's Kit Kat Klein.
Unbelievable.
But oddly, I feel like this is the napping street, because when I'm coming into work, I see a lot of times there are cars parked and there are people sleeping out front in their cars.
Are they sleeping?
I heard you wanted to bump the segment, but now that you got that pick, that's the only reason why I'm on.
Oh, well, exactly
that
right.
what
We were
they
going to blow
told
you
you?
up.
Seriously.
Brett
Brown, you can be mad at.
Listen, I think it's wonderful you're getting your beauty sleep. It's important.
I have to.
No,
These
stop.
bags don't go away overnight, Alex.
Well,
all right?
get back to sleep. You might need a little more.
Thank you.
Here comes.
We can't talk. Come on.
Here comes Jen Fred.
The first time ever the Eagles have landed in London to play a game at Wembley Stadium. Here's one problem. Their opponent has done this for the past 5 years. Eytan Shander from 97.3 ESPN here to break it all down. Before we talk about how experienced the Jags are overseas, let's talk about a little drama that stirred up last night. ESPN reporting 4 of their players were detained.
4 guys
You say
on
they're
defense.
still going to play today, though.
Correct. They'll play today. They were at the nightclub last night. Hey, you're hanging out in London. You want to get one more night in before you have to play the game and come home.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Jacksonville's familiar with it. They probably have a local spot there that they go to. $50,000 bill.
What?
These 4 guys walked out on. Now, that's not unheard of saying, no, we're not paying it. Do you know who I am?
Right.
But chances are that same do you know who I am isn't going to work in London like it works in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
Unless, you're big name and They don't have it.
So they were detained. They're back with the team, according to the team. They're going to play today.
They will be punished in-house. There will be something coming down, but it won't affect the game today as far as their ability to play.
But it could affect because it's a distraction.
Correct.
And a lot going on behind the scenes.
You're so right on that, Lauren. Jacksonville has been dealing with this for the last 2 or 3 weeks. You've got people in-house questioning the quarterback. The defense is upset with the offense. The coaching staff is questioning the offensive line. Everything right now is crumbling, and you have evidence of that with guys going out there just not giving a damn about the game.
Jeez.
I love it. See, I was nervous before that report came out, and that confirmed to me, I was nervous from the Eagles' standpoint, that confirmed to me that this is craziness going on in Jacksonville.
We heard from Carson Wentz a little earlier in the show before you got here, and he says they have to win, and basically everybody has to step up.
Right.
Is that what you think has to happen? After last week, what a disappointing loss.
I know you've had 2 of these now where they've blown big leads in Nashville and then again at home. But I think what you have to look at, the day after that loss, we all go back and say, oh, my goodness, I was pulling my hair out. Now, going into this game, you look at those 2 games specifically and say, well, for 3 quarters, or for 2.5 quarters in Nashville and 3 at home, they were playing really well. They were showing you signs of what happens when you can protect Carson Wentz, when you can get some consistency out of the running game. But Carson's right. You can't just rely on the defense to hold them to 17, 20 points and then maybe cross your fingers and get a first down late in the game. You're going to have to make something happen. This team, you know what I'd like to see?
What?
This team be aggressive on offense all around. And please, one thing. If you have one guy consistently running the football well in the first 3 quarters, go to him in the 4th. That's it. Like, it's easy.
Our injured list keeps growing.
I know. Derek Barnett, Jay Ajayi, we knew. We also, Darren Sproles not making the trip. Derek Barnett is the big one to watch. Haloti Ngata returns on the defensive line. It's a big guy up front in the middle to help depth-wise, but Derek Barnett's a starter. And when you have a guy that is taken away from your rotation, yes, other guys are going to have to step up today, but I'm concerned down the line. So today's a great opportunity for other guys to get in there, even the rookie. I don't know if you heard Mike break into Keith Sweat during the week, so Josh Sweat, the rookie. But you're going to see guys get more opportunity. Today's the day to show and prove that you earned it.
Tell me this, what do you think the Jags do well today? What do we have to look out for?
Blake Bortles, for whatever reason, turns into a different human being in London.
UCF.
He is mediocre at best in Jacksonville, and for some reason in London, he turns into shades of Tom Brady. So whatever they're able to do, the confidence level that he has away overseas, you have to rattle, you have to get to him. Similar theory that we had last week. Get to the quarterback, put your hands on Cam Newton.
Shake him up a little bit.
Here, it's easier. You can rattle Blake Bortles a little easier than Cam because Cam still has that ability and that raw talent that we saw in the 4th quarter. If you can get to Blake Bortles early and often in that 1st quarter, you set the tone, it's going to be difficult for him to throw the football.
Yes or no question for you. Eagles win today?
I said no up until that melee or brawl, whatever it was last night, the arrest, the detainment. But I'm going to flip it now. Eagles win 28-21.
All right. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
I had them losing all week.
So Eagles on the field, getting ready for the game.
Last Friday, our friend Eytan Shander was sitting here, and we asked him, we said, Eytan, what do we need this weekend? Who do we need to root for? We need for a Redskins loss and a Dallas loss. We got them both, Alex. We got them both.
It's like we hit the lottery.
Yeah.
So last night in Dallas, Marcus Mariota had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown in the win, 28-14. The Titans, they did it.
So how does it, now how are we sitting in the standings exactly, Eytan?
Nice and pretty right now.
Pretty.
A game behind the Skins, as you see that, and the opportunity to effectively end the Cowboys season Sunday night. If Dallas falls to 3-6, they're not winning any wild card coming out of this division. The division won't be good enough. Their season will be over.
And we'll be left with the Redskins.
Which is a
definite,
a beatable opponent. And we talked yesterday about how banged up and how hurt they are. But last night, what you saw from Dallas was a team with 0 heart. You don't need Dr. Mike to come in with an x-ray machine to find out where the heart is. They don't have one. All right? This team is laying down dead right now, and it's going to be a beautiful thing Sunday night to end their season right here in Philadelphia.
But this is where I get nervous, because when you come off of a loss like this and they're also so desperate, you don't think they'll have, like, revenge on the mind? And plus, anytime the Eagles and Cowboys play each other, we know it's going to be a show. That makes me a little worried.
You have every right under every circumstance except Sunday night to be nervous because it's a great word. Desperation is key. Here's the problem. They don't have a quarterback. Dak Prescott is the worst everyday quarterback in the NFL. There are rookies right now in the NFL that are better than Dak Prescott. So if they had a quarterback, Alex, I'd say, you know what, let's start sweating.
Yeah.
Let's start really looking at desperation. They're not good enough. They're not. Mike, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Dak Prescott stinks.
But we're just not consistent. That's also the other thing.
It's been an issue so far. But one thing that you can build on, even in losses, has been the offense has played well. It hasn't played amazing. Nathan Peterman is not an everyday starting quarterback.
Right now,
all right? Well, only out of necessity up in Buffalo. That's the difference. Listen, they're not going to anybody else but Dak Prescott. They're stuck with Dak Prescott. Buffalo could go to Mike Jarek at this point and still be better than Nathan Peterman.
Enough out of you. Seinfeld wants your Peterman back. There you go. What about Fitzpatrick?
Nobody. Ryan Fitzmagic?
Fitzmagic.
Ryan Fitzpatric is pretty good. He's
know,
better
actually.
than. Listen, he's better than Dak Prescott.
Miss Tragic. That's the new name, right? Thank you, Michael. All right, so hold on a second.
Yes.
We're good enough to beat the Redskins.
Absolutely. The Skins right now have one starting lineman, offensive lineman, healthy. That's it.
Okay, well, so let's say we win the division.
They're the odds-on favorite, Vegas, if you believe in the bets.
Well,
all right?
can we beat the Saints? Can we beat the Rams?
Oh, that's
No.
true.
No.
Just count them as L's right now.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to. The only thing the Eagles need to do right now, the only focus that we need to have right now is win the NFC East. Once
Okay.
you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But I'll be honest with you right now. The Saints are the best team in the National Football Conference, second best to the Patriots. They're not going to beat the Saints right now. In New Orleans, in Philadelphia, a neutral site, Trenton, New Jersey, it won't matter. They're not going to beat the Saints.
Country Hawkin.
Well, maybe. There's some good food out there, so maybe the home cooking. They don't need to beat the Saints right now.
Okay.
They need to get hot in the playoffs when it matters. The Rams are a better team as well. Don't have envy. Don't have team envy right. It's too early in the season to have team envy right now.
I always have
Okay,
team envy.
let's just handle the Cowboys and then on to the
Wow,
next.
you're the best team on the block. What are you talking about?
Have you voted?
Not yet.
You will vote today?
Yes.
All right.
What's your campaign
What if I had
slogan?
said no? What would you say to me?
I'd say you're a disgrace
Okay.
to humanity.
What's your campaign slogan? You saw what we're doing?
Yes,
Your,
my-
your first name and then the last
Well,
text
last
you
name,
sent.
Shander Craigslist ad. It
We
needs
won't
a lot,
ask.
It needs a lot more explanation, but
The last tweet or
Text.
text you sent out was Craigslist ad?
correct.
What is it?
Do you
Somebody
want-
ask you where you found your girlfriend?
Now you've met her, and you know that she didn't come from Craigslist. Stop.
She's a lovely woman.
Normally, maybe that's the case, but not.
Yeah, exactly.
Not this time.
I know you a long time. Okay, everybody drinks coffee. We're all drinking coffee right now. Eytan certainly is. That's why he's out of control.
Eytan Shander, of course. 97.3 ESPN is here to break it all down.
I just have ice cream on the brain. Shame on you for making me taste that, because now all I want is a whole
forced it.
bowl of it.
Oh, there's plenty. Like, we can get back at it.
Okay.
All right, it's the stinking Cowboys.
It is.
So it matters. But this game's significant regardless.
True, there are a couple of things going on. You mentioned the biggest, which is where the Eagles are and the Cowboys are in the division. So you can deal a major blow to Dallas. Dallas is kind of like that gnat, that annoying
Yes.
fly that's kind of buzzing around. And all you want to do is just get rid of it. And, you know, you've swiped at it a couple of times. Maybe it's gotten in your way, view of the TV. And now you want to just get up and get rid of it. You can get rid of that annoying little gnat tonight and end their season. They're desperate. We all know they're desperate. But they don't, and this is the other element of it. Carson Wentz has been playing like an MVP. Dak Prescott has been playing like a guy who's barely surviving.
Yeah, he's been
surviving. Yes, and you know what? That's a great way to put it. He's garbage.
Yeah.
He's not talented enough to win this football game alone. We already know Carson Wentz is. So the battle of the quarterbacks and where the Eagles can essentially send the Cowboys with a win tonight, huge factors in this game.
Carson Wentz has the talent to potentially win it alone. Now, unfortunately, Darren Sproles isn't going to play. We were hoping he would. Golden Tate is.
That's right.
All right, so what do you expect from him?
I expect a lot, and I expect him to get involved early. The best thing that Golden Tate does is create space with the ball in his hands. He's like Jimmy Butler. We're going to get to him. I know, we're going to get to him in a second. But he's like a guy on the basketball floor where no matter where he is, he can create his own space. And on the football field, if you get him lateral, if you get him wide, one-on-one, one-on-two, he's got some size, former running back, but he's also got the speed. So I expect him to get used in the game plan right away. It's going to be Golden Tate, our new addition, versus Amari Cooper, the Cowboys' new addition. You know what? It's like an overpriced car that breaks down in the fast lane as soon as you try to go into third gear. Meanwhile, Golden Tate, man, that's like that Jag that you can just let open up on the fast lane from here to New York or here to Baltimore.
Watching it, I don't know who Dallas defense takes away. Like the Eagles have now, still struggling with the running game. There's so many weapons to throw to. It's almost like who do they try to stop? Because anyone can burn you.
You're right, and I think that struggling. I'll disagree with you on struggling to an extent, because I think that it's been more of a neglect of the running game than the actual struggling. Now, that comes down to coaching, but I'm not here to rip Doug Peterson. I think Peterson is a great adjuster. My point is that every single game, we've seen at least one running back, Bill, have a good game. Now, for some reason, there's been neglect in the fourth quarter, but it goes back to Golden Tate. It goes back to why you have a guy like Golden Tate who can help open up the passing offense. So now it takes pressure off of Doug Peterson in the fourth quarter to say, Corey Clement, no. Wendell Smallwood, no. Who do I have to go to? He's going to go to these guys more. And they're going to play with the lead tonight.
You mentioned Jimmy Butler. I kind of threw it out there. I was out shooting a story. So I got back yesterday, and they mentioned to me, yeah, the Sixers made a big trade.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you guys got jokes.
I was in my elevator. I got a call. I do national stuff for SB Nation.
Yeah.
I got a call from them. Hey, can you come on right now? I'm in the elevator in my building, so I don't know what's going on. Huge trade for the Sixers. I've been calling for this specific move, Bill, for years, it feels like.
Love it.
I am so thrilled for everybody involved. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Brett Brown, the organization, Elton Brand.
Well done.
Elton Brand, take a bow, sir.
Well done.
The fans are going to love.
He's a great defender.
Yes.
He cares. Like his problem, people say he's a locker room cancer.
No.
His problem has been he wants people to play as hard as he does.
Right. And it's rare that you get this great mesh of a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's a veteran, he'll be 30 soon, not right away, but young guys like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid who care about their game. You don't improve the way Joel Embiid did in one offseason unless you give a you-know-what about your game. Jimmy Butler represents Philadelphia. This guy was homeless at one point, and what he's battled through, I don't know if there's a better representation on the floor in the NBA of what Philadelphia, the city, would be than Jimmy Butler. I can't wait. I know we have a football game tonight, but I can't wait. Wednesday night, that's when you'll see Jimmy.
They're telling me we need to go to break. We got one more thing we need to get to.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. Blame me. Blame Jimmy Butler, Elton Brand, everything.
Talk about what happened last night in this game against Dallas. So, we lost. Is it time to panic?
Eytan, I'm going through offensive frustration syndrome.
Yes, that's a great term. Can I steal that?
Go for it. I think we all are.
Oh, my goodness. Where do you want to begin? Normally I come on here and I talk for about 60 seconds, and you have to shut me up in order to get to the next point. I don't even know where to start here. From coaching to execution. Carson Wentz, how much have we been praising him all season? Clearly his worst game. The running game, you had a little sign of Josh Adams working well. It was abandoned. Everything went wrong. That's a rookie linebacker who looked like Dick Butkus out there, looked like Charlie Bednarik out there. Like, what's going on? I don't know how they lost this football game to a worse team. You ask, is it time to panic? Absolutely time to. This season's over.
What happened with the new guy? We were expecting so much, for Golden to be Golden. What happened with him?
He was not in the game plan at all, and it really was a shock to me, and I think to a lot of people, that you had somebody who has the skill set to take advantage of Dallas's defense. The NFL is about matchups every week. How does your offense match up against the defense you're playing, and vice versa? Golden Tate is a great weapon to use against this specific Dallas Cowboys defense.
But he was given a light workload.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They came off a bye. So, Thomas, this is not like they came off of a game last week and they had to just throw Golden Tate in. They had a full week to integrate him into the game plan. The Golden Tate experiment failed last night, but don't blame Golden. It's not his fault.
No. And plus, I think it's still too early to really decide on Golden. Zach Ertz, though, he came alive in the second.
It seems to be the lone bright spot we're seeing. He's on pace to break Rob Gronkowski's record for a tight end receiving yards, for a season. You see he's also being able to be a great threat in the red zone right there. It's a great catch and route by Zach Ertz. It's unfortunate that it's almost being wasted on a season like this. But here's something to look at moving forward. And I know we all hate about let's look moving forward down the line talk. But Zach Ertz, Carson Wentz might be the best 1-2 punch we've seen since Brady Gronkowski. And I know that's saying a lot, but these two guys are on the same page. Unfortunately, Alshon Jeffrey and Carson Wentz are not.
So real quick, moving ahead, and then I want to talk about the Sixers here. Let's move on to the Saints next week because the Cowboys, I mean, they were a shaky team. Easily we were expected to win that one, moving on against a strong Saints.
I don't even want to think about this nightmare that's going to come this week. Drew Brees versus a defense that's down its top 3 cornerbacks and one of its top 2 starting safeties. If Drew Brees is not drooling right now at the opportunity of setting records against this Eagles defense, I don't know what he's thinking, but this is a bad scenario next week.
Buckle up.
Bad scenario next week. I'm sorry.
Let's switch sports now.
Thank
Flyers
you.
are doing pretty well. Let's talk basketball.
Thank
Huge
you.
trade this weekend. We were talking about it on Saturday.
Absolutely. This is the biggest trade the Sixers have made maybe in 20 years? Free agents don't come here. And the Sixers, Elton Brand, I did this on Sunday, another standing ovation for Elton Brand. He made the move. You have to be aggressive when you're the Sixers. You cannot rely on somebody choosing this team in the offseason. And Jimmy Butler is the best fit that I think for an attainable player. How he plays, how hard he plays, what he demands from his teammates. Listen, it's the same thing that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons demand from their teammates.
Very similar personalities.
Absolutely.
How do you think they're going to?
I think it's going to be a perfect mesh. Yeah. It's going to be as good of a mesh as Thomas and Karen.
Oh,
look at that.
That's a winning combination right there.
Eytan, thank you so much.
Doesn't get better. We'll have to end it there.
This is it. Because G Cobb did show up, and so did Eytan. So we thought, well, if they're here, we'll go ahead and talk about it. So here's my highlight. Go. We got Jimmy Butler. We got Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
That is a good threesome right there.
That's
We'll talk-
an amazing threesome.
All right, now we're going to take you back to the Panthers-Eagles game. Remember a few weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They go up 17-0, and at the kickoff, they start dancing, right? Well, that made the Panthers mad.
And we know how that ended.
Yeah. And I think other players around the league didn't like that either. So the first thing the Cowboys do in pregame, the warm-ups yesterday, they start dancing, kind of imitating. Oh, you like to dance, do you? And then that started a fight. They seem to come and kind of, hey, listen, we're not going to roll over here, Eagles. We're here to play. And then they came through.
You know, it's a bad sign when a coach that you can't even recognize and a player that doesn't even play is fighting. Yes, that's the worst sign right there. That's the omen that things ain't working right.
And then this happened right off the bat.
I know you're talking about that interception.
Here it comes.
Doggone Carson.
Wow.
That might be his
That was
worst
sloppy.
interception of his career.
Jumped the route.
He didn't even look over there. I mean, he was playing games, then you turn. I mean, that's something you just don't do. You know?
Now, they only got 3 out of it.
Yeah.
But it really set the tone, didn't it, Chief?
It did. It set things up where the Eagles were playing from behind. They don't play from behind well. You know, they're not a team that's able to spot another team a lead, and they don't look comfortable in that position. They like to come out and jump on top of the other team, and they talked about it all week. Carson said, we're going to get out, we're going to get a quick lead.
Yep.
That didn't happen.
That's got to be, and you've been in this situation before as a player, but every time I see something like this where you have time to prepare and you had an extra week, they had an extra week to prepare. How is that not on the coaching? How is Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz not solely in the square of people's sights of frustration this morning because the team wasn't prepared?
Yeah, well,
But
see,
they
the team.
talked before about being sluggish coming off of a bye week.
That's right. But the big thing I see is, you know, the guys that on that coaching staff that they're missing. See, there used to be, you know, Frank Reich,
Right.
who used to be in the ear of Doug Peterson, working out the initial plays. It seems like everybody's jumping all the routes. They know exactly what we're going to do when the game starts.
Yeah, at some point, if you are Super Bowl winning head coach Doug Peterson, if you are the coach that we saw last year, you have to adjust. And Gary, I agree with you. For the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season, it was obvious he was missing his guys, his boys that ain't here anymore.
Yeah.
But at some point, Bill Belichick loses guys every year.
I know.
Every single
go.
year.
You got to make the
point.
adjustment. But, you know, defensively, they're not getting it done either. I mean, it's on both sides of the ball. Defense, doggone it, you got to be aggressive. You can't be playing scared. they're passive and tentative on defense.
Yeah, you always talk about that.
Yeah.
The one little bright note was from Central Buck South, Josh Adams with a pretty darn good run.
I like that kid.
Yeah, I do too.
Once again, though, you have an example. This is every single game. An example of somebody running the ball well that gets abandoned.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Doug Peterson abandoned. Josh Adams ran the ball well last night. Every week you have at least one back doing it. I don't understand. I'm out of answers. As why he's
I don't think
abandoning
Doug
the run.
has somebody over there that's able to get in his ear. You know, you kind of give somebody the authority to say, "Look, tell me when I'm screwing up." And you need somebody like
don't
that.
have that.
They don't. I don't think they have
That's
that.
why we're here.
Zach, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was on fire.
Kudos
though.
to him.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, well-
but you know what?
I think he's their
great
best
for
player.
him, but so what? At this
I know.
point, so what?
He's about to break records.
Well, but
Alex, I'm with you. Personally, I'm happy for Zach.
I
I've
mean, he
been
had a
fan of
great
Zach
game.
from day one.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm so disgusted
Okay, put
with
up the
this
standings.
team's effort. So freaking what about Zach Ertz at this
They
point?
are in trouble. They're in some major trouble because you got the Cowboys ahead of them. The Redskins do not have a lot of tough teams they're going to
No.
play, so it's going to be hard to catch them.
Cowboys have a
we-
game on them because of that win last
Yeah,
night.
that's right.
The Eagles have the second most difficult schedule from here on out.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy Butler.
It's over.
He's a 6.
That's right. Hey.
Eytan, what do you think about that?
Elton Brand. Elton Brand is the man. Congratulations. It's the best move that they could have made. They were not going to get a big name free agent. That just doesn't happen in Philadelphia. They had to make a move. Let me just say this real quick. Jimmy Butler, the man was homeless. He has come through and fought through everything. The way he plays on the floor, there is not a better representation of Philadelphia on the
Boy, that's
floor
true.
Yeah.
than Jimmy Butler. He is Philadelphia on the basketball court.
But you weren't sad to lose Dario and Robert
No,
Covington?
no way, no way.
People,
We
were
like
sad. People like Dario.
No,
But the
you're
thing
right.
is, the
That's
thing
a
is,
great
Jimmy
question.
Butler, because of his ability to score, he really just gives this team balance. Because he can shoot from outside and he's got that jumper and he can create. He's tough. He's going to make them all play tougher defense.
Yeah.
But he calls people out. I wonder how he's going to mesh with Joel Embiid because they're both kind of trash talkers.
Well, it's kind of good sometimes. As I said, you need somebody that can tell you when you're tripping. And you got somebody there now who's going to be able to help these younger guys grow because they really need some help. I mean, like Ben Simmons, dude, you got to work on that jump shot a little bit, man.
Stay
Come on
away
now.
from the Jenners.
My man, stay away from,
He's going to be,
Chill
Jimmy
out with the
Butler will
Jenners, yeah.
be great for these kids. And Alex, to your point about Dario and Robert Covington, they will be missed. I think Covington was so underrated.
I agree.
Dario's a little overrated, but both will be missed. At the same time, Jimmy Butler was frustrated with people who don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons
exactly.
and Joel Embiid breathe competition.
That's right.
They'll fit right in.
All right, thanks, guys.
It's good.
Thank you.